The forthcoming United Nations Summit on the Millennium Development Goals indicates an awareness that the clock is ticking. 10 years of a 15-year program have gone by, and there is still a very, very long way to go. That's not to deny that much has been done. Differences have been made, and the importance of the eradication of certain kinds of disease, particularly malaria, and the scourges around HIV, commitments around education, much has been done to meet these visions and ideals. And yet, we're all bound to be painfully conscious that there's a very long way to go. And this is not just about ideals in a vacuum. This is about the lives of millions or billions of people. And our call is still to make a real difference to them. It's quite easy, especially in the light of the last couple of years, to think that we haven't really got the resources for this after all. It's very tempting for governments and others to think that in a climate of financial crisis, this is one of those things that really has to go onto the back burner. We have to reduce or put on hold our commitments. The fact is that even in the present climate, governments are not as short of resources as it's tempting for them to think they are. More than that, there are resources with which they can cooperate, resources which they can build so as to make a difference together. And those are very often the resources to be found in civil society, and not least in the communities of faith across the world. Here there are resources not only in terms of skills and persons, but of vision and of energy, of faith, a sense of deep obligation, a sense that our welfare is absolutely bound up with the welfare of our neighbour. For any person of faith, each of us is responsible for the welfare of the neighbour. They are responsible too for us. To seek to realise the Millennium Development Goals is simply a response, an obedient response, as we would say, to that kind of vision. And so it's in that light that we as communities of faith would want first to declare our commitment to these goals, but also to declare our willingness to join in the task. Our willingness to join in the arguments and negotiations around reshaping our financial institutions, dealing with the appalling burden of debt that still so afflicts so many places and people. Our willingness, our conviction about the need to work together for the eradication of disease and poverty, our particularly powerful sense of the preciousness of children and young people, the need to secure their future, which is also ours. So, in the light of that vision, we who come from the communities of faith want to appeal to our governments not to step back from the commitments they have made, to make the best use of their own resources, and to build up the resources of others for work together towards a world that we can be proud to live in, a world in which our responsibility for each other is truly and fully exercised, where we can really celebrate the life and welfare of all.